my beloved child. Before the first light ever touched the earth, before time began to count the passing of moments, your name was already inscribed within my heart, not just any name like those spoken among mankind, but a sacred name, declared in the council of heaven where light never fades and promises are never broken. That name was not merely given for calling, but for commissioning, not just for remembrance, but to initiate a mission so eternal that only your soul could bear its weight. Deep within you, though you may not fully realize it, a calling has echoed from eternity, a voice the world cannot hear, a summons only the chosen can feel beating in the rhythm of their hearts, whispering in the silence, woven through dreams, never spoken aloud. That is why you have always felt different, not because you tried to stand out, but because the light within you refused to blend into the shadows. Your soul has stirred through long nights, longing for something unnamed. My child, that unrest is not disorder, but the stirring of an incomplete destiny. And in that very momentone that defies human understanding, my 12 heavenly messengers, guardians of the eternal design, rose as one to lift your name before my throne, not because you had accomplished something great, not because you stood out among the multitudes, but because, in the quiet of your heart, they heard a yes, a silent surrender that moved the heavens. These angels interceded for you not because you were perfect, but because you yielded, not because you were strong, but because you longed to be transformed. That moved me deeply. For in a generation chasing applause and appearance, you chose the narrow road, the path of seeking, of unseen tears, of perseverance in the dark. You may have thought those efforts went unnoticed, but today I tell you, not a single step you've taken was in vain. Not one of your prayers has fallen to the ground. Not a single wound you've carried has been without consequence in the realm of the Spirit. That is why your name is now engraved upon the sacred tablet, reserved for souls set apart for a purpose far greater than themselves. I know you wonder why you often feel like you don't belong, why ordinary joys feel incomplete, why your heart thirsts for something higher, deeper, wider. My beloved, it is because your soul was designed for the eternal. It cannot be satisfied with the temporary, like an eagle trapped in a sparrow's cage. You were never meant to bow low. You were born to soar on winds, unreachable by the common eye. That is also why you have been misunderstood, rejected, and wounded, not because you are without worth, but because darkness always seeks to silence any light that might expose it. The wounds of your past are not condemnation, they are preparation. You have learned to ache without bitterness, to lose without losing yourself. And because of this, heaven has paused to hear your groanings. For there is a cry that only those who have suffered for righteousness can release, a sound that causes angel armies to rise. You thought you were forgotten, but in truth, you have been remembered more carefully than anyone else. When you sleep, I watch over you. When you cry, I count every tear. When you fall, I am already waiting at the end of the road, not to scold, but to bring you home. Your name is not what the world has called you, it is what I whisper in the sacred realm. And it still echoes among the angels as a reminder of a mission yet unfinished. So, my child, do not think your presence on this earth is accidental. I have ordained every breath you take, every season you walk through, every person you encounter. Nothing is random. Everything is a link in a chain, preparing you for this moment when I speak and you hear. When the veil is lifted, and you begin to see why you were placed, preserved, and protected. That moment is now, and this is only the beginning. My precious one, pause and listen closely. For what is about to be spoken is not mere encouragement, it is the cipher that unlocks destiny. You once thought yourself a small figure in a vast sea of humanity. But in truth, your soul bears the imprint of a covenant, not one written by human hands, but etched into the mind of the Eternal One. Before your mother's womb was formed, I saw you. Not only saw you were called, not only called, you were entrusted with a part of my work on the earth. Every season of your life, every decision you've made, has been a step upon the sacred map I have drawn for you. There were nights when you collapsed under the weight of unspoken weariness, and you wondered, does anyone see? Does anyone care? I saw. I was there. Not distant, not detached, I drew near, placed my hand upon your shoulder in the unseen. I whispered your name in the dark, not to wake you, but to remind you that you are still mine. I am not bound by shouts or outward signs. I hear your heart even when your lips are still. I understand your chaos even when you have no words. For I am the one who fashioned every detail within you, every vein, every nerve, every fragile dream. I know them all. That is why I do not see you as the world does. The world measures by success, by appearance, by outcome. But I see the depths. I see how you choose what is right, even when no one applauds. How you forgive, even while your heart is still healing. How you lift your head between disappointment and hope. These are not small things, my child. They shake the kingdom of darkness. Each time you choose light, even if it's just a flicker, it is a resounding victory in the heavenly realms. The angels do not cheer only for great miracles, but for the courageous hearts who choose love amid pain. My child, your name was brought forth in the council of the 12 as a plea for pity, but as a holy declaration. This is the one in whom we have seen faithfulness in the quiet places. No one else may have seen, but the angels did. They have walked your journey not as distant watchers, but as warriors by your side in the invisible realm. They lifted you when you were on the brink. They shielded you from unseen arrows aimed at your mind, and they entered the holy place together, presenting your name before me in sacred offering. You once believed you had to do more. Try harder. Prove yourself to gain my attention. But let me correct that thought. My love for you does not come from what you do, but from who I am. I love you because I am love. Nothing you do makes me love you more. Nothing you've done wrong makes me love you less. That love is not like the tide that rises and falls. It is a bottomless ocean. It is not built on performance or results, but on relationship. And in that relationship, I do not call you servant, but friend, child, and one I deeply treasure. Yes, my love is unconditional, but the mission cannot be taken lightly. My love is not an excuse for complacency. It is the foundation for your boldness. It is precisely because I love you that I cannot let you stay in smallness. It is because I love you that I call you out of comfort into the realm where faith outweighs fear, where obedience surpasses logic. That is where you begin to truly live out the name that was spoken over you in the heights of heaven. You have walked through seasons of drought, those times when your prayers seemed to vanish into the void. Seasons when silence felt like the only response you received. But do you know this? It was in that very silence that your seed took root deeper than ever before. And now, the rains are coming. Not storms that destroy, but gentle rains of blessing, reviving what once was barren. Soon, you will see tender shoots break through hardened ground. Your faithfulness will bloom. The years you thought were wasted will be restored 100-fold. My child, you don't need to understand everything in order to obey. You don't have to see the whole path to take the first step. All I need is a willing heart, and you already have that. What you're doing now, listening to me, opening your heart, standing ready, is the beginning of a new cycle, a season of transformation, a divine turning point that no force of darkness can stop. And as you step forward, I walk with you. When you speak, I place my words upon your lips. When you fight, I stand at the center of the battlefield. And when you fall, I am the one who carries you back, not just once, but forever. My child, I know there are times you ask, if I'm truly chosen, why is my life filled with so much pain? But hear me, because it is in the moments when everything seems broken that you are being shaped into a sacred vessel capable of holding what I am about to pour out. Pain is not a sign of abandonment. It is proof that you are being prepared for something greater. Just as Joseph endured betrayal, was sold into slavery, and forgotten in prison, none of it was meaningless. For in that very darkness, a heavenly dream was conceived to save a nation. And in the same way, I am using the sorrows you've hidden to weave a redemptive plan for others through you. There have been wounds that made you think you'd never rise again, losses that stripped the peace from your soul. But child, where others see failure, I see a doorway for mercy. Where others see only darkness, I see the preparation for a greater light. I never waste pain. Every tear you've cried, I have collected in a golden bottle, Psalm 56:8. Every crack in your soul is a place where my light can shine through. That is why your name is spoken in heaven, not because you are stronger than others, but because you did not let your weakness make you give up. Know this, angels do not lift your name because you are perfect. They lift it because you are genuine. They witnessed how you didn't run from your pain, but brought it before my throne. They saw how you didn't pretend to be strong, but knelt down, trembling, and whispered, Lord, please don't leave me. That prayer, that surrender, that humility stirred all of heaven. You gave me the most precious offering, a heart that was broken but not bitter. That heart touched me more deeply than any hymn sung in a grand temple. For I do not seek perfection, I seek truth. And the truth in you has been written into the eternal chronicles of my kingdom. Oh, child, if only you knew how many lives have been revived by your words, your gaze, your smile. Even on days when your own heart was still bleeding, you would never again question your worth. I have used what seems small in you to unlock doors unreachable by others. Someone once stood at the edge, and it was a gesture from you on you thought meant nothing that pulled them back. You didn't know, but I knew, and that is why I keep lifting your name in heaven, because you are my beloved instrument tone that passed through fire yet was not consumed, walked through deep waters, yet was not drowned. Do not confuse silence with absence. There are seasons when I am silent not because I've left you, but because I'm allowing your soul to mature. A soldier cannot be trained forever in the safety of the camp. They must be tested on the battlefield. And you are not merely a citizen of my kingdom, you are a warrior, one marked with purpose, a soul bound by covenant. And to stand in the storm, you must learn to hear me, even when no other sound remains. That is the art of the chosen, to believe even without seeing, to walk even without certainty, to love even while still aching. Remember what I did with Moses. When he thought he had been forgotten in the wilderness, I was actually preparing him for 40 years. When he turned away from Egypt's glory, I was shaping a leader for the greatest exodus in history. In the same way, your time in obscurity, when no one noticed, when no one presated, when I etched my will into your very bones. The ones I send are not the loud, but those who've grown familiar with the silence of the desert and the whispers of my spirit. So, child, when you are tired, rest in my arms. When you feel empty, let me fill you. When you feel unworthy, let me remind you, it was I who called you, and I have no regret in doing so. I do not need your perfection. I need your honesty, your faithfulness, and your willingness, and you have given me that. You are living proof that my grace is sufficient for the weak. You are the evidence that I can turn what is broken into something beautiful. Therefore, stop looking at your past with sorrowful eyes. Look ahead with eyes shining with hope. Your name is not just ink on a page. Your name is a song sung in heaven, a call that echoes in the spirit realm, a torch that will light the path for many. And this is only the beginning, my beloved child. When your name was spoken in the heavens, it was not merely an affirmation, it was a resounding bell that stirred the spirit realm. Each time you doubt your worth, each time you wonder, who am I among the many? Remember this, there was an eternal moment in heaven when 12 angels stepped before my throne and, in unison, declared your name, not because they needed me to notice you, but because they rejoiced that the light within you had pierced through the veil of flesh and could no longer be hidden. My child, you may have lived your life in silence, walked unnoticed, worked quietly without praise, but that is not failure, it is preparation. Your quiet life has echoed through the unseen world. Your faithfulness in the smallest things has touched my heart. Just as David tended sheep in the wilderness unseen, disregarded yet, I saw him, and it was I who sent the prophet to anoint that young boy as king. For I do not look as man looks. I look at the heart, and in the deepest part of you, I see a true heart, a heart that never gave up, even when it longed to surrender, a soul that kept believing, even when faith became costly. That is what caused your name to resound in heaven. Not fame, not talent, but faithfulness. Angels report on those who endure, not on those who shine. And you have endured. You have held fast to your faith, even when everything seemed to fall apart. I know that at times you've asked, am I on the wrong path? Have I wandered from the divine will? But I say to you today, you have never strayed from my sight, even the unexpected turns. The seemingly meaningless detours were places where I hid my preparation. I do not guide you by maps, but by my hand, and that hand is never let go. Just as Jonah thought he was fleeing, yet was ultimately embraced by the arms of grace and returned to the place of his calling, so too. Do not fear the seasons you do not understand, for if you are still hearing my voice, then you are still walking the right path. My child, I have placed within you something that no one else can carry. Not everyone is entrusted with the task you bear. Your name was not chosen just to save you, but to save many. Just as Esther was brought into the palace for such a time as this, Esther 4:14, you too have been preserved, led, and brought to this moment not by chance, but by destiny. I never work halfway. Every detail has a purpose, and you are part of a story far greater than you know. The pain you have endured, I have seen it. The times you cried silently in the dark, I sat with you. The long nights you could not sleep for fear, I kept watch in your stead. When you whispered, "Lord, I can't go on," I did not rebuke you, but gently replied, "I know, but I will be your strength." And from those very places, the light within you has burned even brighter. For faith does not grow in comfort, but in the wilderness and fire, in fog, in trial. There are seasons when I did not answer your prayers with instant miracles, but with inner transformation. I did not remove the mountain, but gave you the strength to climb it. I did not silence the storm, but gave you peace in the midst of its waves. I did not always say yes, but I always said, "I am here," and in that presence, your soul learned a lesson no book could teach, that I am enough. You once thought that being chosen by heaven meant ease, glory, and straight paths. But know those who are chosen are those who know how to weep, who know how to endure, who know how to stand when all else falls apart. That is what gives spiritual weight. I do not entrust authority to hearts untouched by suffering. I give it to those whose souls have been broken, yet still choose to believe. And you, my child, are one of them. So do not measure your journey by human eyes. See it through the eyes of faith. For when heaven chose to call your name, it was not so that you might live a common life, but to become an eternal instrument, one who brings lost souls home, one who builds what fire cannot consume, one who writes history with the ink of obedience. That is why your name was proclaimed before my throne, not once, but many times, not by obligation, but by joy, my beloved. When heaven chooses someone for a sacred mission, the first thing I do is not to grant status or fame, but to refine. I do not take you straight to the mountaintop. I lead you through the valley, because it is in the deepest place, where only you and I dwell, that you learn the most precious truth, that my presence is the greatest reward a soul can ever know. And it is there that you come to know me, not just through knowledge, but through experience, not through books, but through tears, through waiting, through pain transformed by grace. Do you remember those days when your only prayer was, "Lord, don't leave me"? Those mornings you awoke with an empty heart, yet still sang praise, though your lips trembled. You didn't know, but the angels recorded every single act. No one else saw, but heaven saw. And no one can take your reward, for it does not come from man. I did not choose you because you were perfect. I chose you because you allowed me to mold you. There are many I call, but they refuse the furnace. Yet you, though afraid, did not turn back. Though wounded, you did not run. Though weary, you still prayed. That faithfulness shook the heavens. Do you know what Satan fears most? Not theology charts, not eloquence, but a fragile soul that does not give up. A person who fails but stands again. A heart that stays soft before God. No matter how hard the world becomes, like Joseph in the prison of Egypt, betrayed, forgotten, yet unwavering in purity and faithfulness. Like Daniel in the lion's den, he did not plead for mercy, but prayed for God's glory. They were not there because of mistakes, but because they were chosen. And so are you. Every failure you have experienced, from the perspective of heaven, has been a transition crafted to refine your character. Every tear you've shed, if gathered, would become a river that one day nourishes the souls of others. I am using your very brokenness to heal those who will encounter you along the path you are called to walk. Do not dismiss the days when all you could do was sigh. Do not underestimate the nights when your only prayer was a faint, "Lord, I do not seek perfection from you, I seek truth." Nothing draws me closer to you than when you come just as you are, unmasked, unpolished, not trying to appear spiritual. It is in your rawness that I clothe you in glory. Did you know the 12 angels not only brought your name before me, but they carried with it a testimony. They saw you forgive when you were betrayed. They witnessed you lift others even while your own heart was breaking. They heard your intercession for those who hurt you. That offering rises like a fragrant incense before me. And what of the world? They may not see, or they may forget, but that does not matter, because I see, and I remember, and I reward from a place where no one can deny the gift. Have you ever felt abandoned amid unfulfilled promises? Have you looked to the heavens and asked, "Lord, why has your word not come to pass?" My child, faith is not believing when all things align as you hope. Faith is walking when there is no sign. Faith is resting on the promise even when no evidence appears. And I have seen you do just that again and again. That, my child, moves me. Not miracles, but obedience in the wilderness. Not victory, but an unwavering heart in the midst of loss. So do not measure your worth by what you've accomplished. Look instead at what you have not let go of: your faith, your conscience, your mercy. That is the spiritual imprint that heaven acknowledges, though the enemy tries to diminish you through words, circumstances, or invisible wounds. There is a record in the heavens declaring, "You are one who would not be broken." A warrior of light, a bearer of truth even when surrounded by lies. I am doing a new thing. I am repositioning you in the spirit. What once brought pain will become a foundation. What once was a burden will become a weapon. What once made you weep will become the reason others are healed. Doubt no longer. Do not ask, "Why me?" For today, I say to you, because you endured, because you believed, because you did not turn away. That is why your name has been lifted before my throne, and that is why a new season is being unlocked. My child, now that I have shown you why you were chosen, allow me to take you deeper into the purpose I have ordained for your life. What is happening is not a string of random events. It is not chaos, it is a sacred flow, where every step, whether swift or slow, is under my sovereign guidance. You may feel lost, but you are exactly where I want you to be. At the precise moment heaven has appointed, every delay, every closed door, is not the end but preparation. Preparation for your soul to carry the weight of the glory I am about to reveal. Do you know why some around you seem to rise quickly in success, yet cannot sustain it? Because they stepped into places where their hearts were not yet deep enough, their souls not yet strong, and fame consumed their faith. But you, I have hidden you. I let you wait. I let you hurt. I let you grow in silence, so your spiritual roots would reach past shallow soil and tap into the living water. Like the tree in Psalm 1 planted by streams of water, always green, not by season, but by my will. My child, there is a heavenly teaching that doesn't come from pulpits, but from the secret place. It does not echo through microphones, but resounds in the stillness. And you have walked through that classroom when no one applauded. You still served. When no one recognized, you still loved. When no one stood by, you still remained faithful. That is what caused angels to bow their heads. You may not know it, but there were moments when the hosts of heaven paused their praises to listen to your quiet prayers. And when you whispered, "I don't understand, but I still believe," it became a symphony more beautiful than any hymn ever sung in heaven. Do not underestimate my silence for sometimes. That silence is proof you are near the glory. And I do not want you distracted by anything else. You once wished, if only you would speak more clearly. But it is in the silence that you began to realize my voice does not always come in sound, but in engraving. I do not merely whisper, I inscribe, and you are the wax tablet upon which I have written my word through endurance, through faith, through midnight tears. At this very moment, know this, your mission is not something to come. It has already begun. It is being shaped, piece by piece, like a potter molding clay slowly, precisely, with intent. What you are learning today will become the tools you use tomorrow. The ones you are loving now will one day witness transformation through you, and the ground you are treading now where nothing seems to happen will one day become a harvest field. For I am the one who wastes nothing in your life. Remember Jesus. When he was led into the wilderness by the Spirit, wasn't to teach or to perform miracles, but to confront trial. 3 temptations. 3 responses grounded in the Word. He needed no argument. He needed no feeling. He needed absolute obedience. And that is the image you now carry, one who has learned to face temptation not by strength, but by the living Word. One who does not react out of fear, but walks by faith. That is why your name is engraved upon heaven's altar, because you have reflected me, even in seasons of seeming abandonment. Now, you've arrived at the next stage, the place where I call you to step out, not in the way the world expects, but in the way heaven has already written. You do not need to promote yourself. I will lift you up in my time. You do not need to chase open doors. I will send angels to unlock the right ones. All I ask is this: keep your heart as it was at the beginning, like David the shepherd, who still carried his harp and worshipped with pure attention when standing before Solomon's golden throne. Let not growth overshadow your roots. Let not visibility obscure the one who chose you in the shadows. My beloved, the days ahead will not look like the ones before, but remember, it's not because you are good enough, but because I am faithful enough. Not because you are worthy, but because I am worthy within you. You will see promises unfold. You will walk through doors no man can open. You will carry the good news into places once closed tight. And all of this begins with one thing: trust. Trust when there is no proof. Obedience without a map. And I know you are ready. My child, now is the time I reveal to you another part of the plan heaven wove together before time began. What you are stepping into is not merely a season, it is a break in the normal stream of time, where heaven intersects earth and destiny is established. You are living in a moment that generations past longed to witness, but you, the one who felt so small, are the one chosen to walk in it. There is a divine coincidence, what the world calls chance. I call design. Have you ever noticed how things that seemed random led you precisely where you needed to be? Unplanned encounters, closed doors that weren't meant to open, wounds that made no sense at the time. Each one was a puzzle piece in the painting I am creating with your life. And now, as that picture begins to come into view, I want you to look not with the eyes of your past, but with eyes anointed to see destiny. You once asked me, "Why is everything delayed? Why must I wait so long?" And today, I answer you with a holy truth. It's not because you weren't ready, but because everything around you wasn't yet in place. You hold the key to a greater door that is not meant for you alone to walk through, but for many others to follow behind. If I had let you step forward too soon, you would have opened that door in solitude. But I am the orchestrator of time. I care not only about where you are going, but about who will go with you, and who will be rescued through your obedience. Do you remember Moses? He was chosen while still hidden among the reeds, yet had to wait 40 years in the wilderness before becoming the deliverer of my people. Why? Because his character was not yet shaped, his heart not yet softened, and the people not yet desperate enough. You too have passed through seasons that felt like barren deserts, but do not think they were wasted. Every day spent there was a brick in the foundation of your destiny. And now I say to you, it is enough. The season of endurance has ended. The season of commissioning begins. But commissioning does not arrive with noise and fanfare. It comes like a gentle wind through the leaves, like a whisper in the night, like the steady beat of a heart that has learned how to listen. And you have learned this not through manuals or titles, but through tears, through faithfulness in obscurity, through choosing forgiveness over revenge, through clinging to hope when all seemed lost. That is where I train my warriors, not on platforms, but in secret chambers. My child, you carry a calling unlike any other, because you were not made to be like anyone else. I do not need you to imitate, I need you to reflect, not the image of another person, but of myself. That is why your mission cannot fit into old molds. It must break them, break boundaries, break limitations, break the illusion of the impossible. For you are not merely called to serve, you are called to pave the way. And forerunners are always the first to be misunderstood. But do not be discouraged, for I am the one who sends you, and I am the one who affirms you. Your name, beloved one, has been written on a white stone, known only to you and me, Revelation 2:17. A name untouched by the stains of the past, unclouded by the dust of failure, unmarked by human labels. A name proclaimed in the throne room, where angels bow in reverence. A name forged in perseverance, kindness, and humility. And today, I tell you, that name is not just meant to be known, it is meant to be used. Your name will be spoken in hidden prayer rooms, where hearts wait to be released. Your name will be whispered on the lips of those seeking light, not because of you, but because of the one who lives within you. You don't need to do great things to be valuable. You only need to be faithful with the small things I have entrusted to you, because it is from those small things that I will bring forth the great. Just as 5 loaves and 2 fish fed a multitude, I will take what you have, what the world calls insignificant, and perform wonders through it. Do not despise what you carry. Offer it, and then you will see. The miracle is not in the quantity, but in the surrender. Beloved one, there is something I need you to understand clearly. A calling is not merely an instruction to act, it is an echo from eternity, a voice your soul heard before your body was ever formed. In the silence of that eternal place, You said yes to me before you knew pain, betrayal, or human limits. And now, as you walk the earth, that yes still resounds in the spirit realm. It is a sound that darkness fears and heaven celebrates. You have doubted yourself, thinking you're not holy enough to be called. But I say this to you, what makes you worthy is not that you've never fallen, but that you've always risen again. I do not choose the perfect, I choose the humble. Just as I chose a shepherd boy named David among his taller brothers, just as I called a simple girl named Mary to mother the Savior, I have chosen you not because of your appearance, but because of your heart. And your heart, I have seen it since your youth, a heart sensitive to others' pain, a soul that could not rest while anyone around you still suffered. Do you think the wounds you carry are random? They are not. They are the pen I've used to compose a symphony of compassion within you. No one can truly heal unless they've known pain. No one can love deeply unless they've felt abandonment. I have used your tears as oil to anoint the broken. So, do not be ashamed of your past. Do not hide what seemed like stains. Let me use them to work wonder-stirring ashes into beauty, and brokenness into places of restoration. Have you noticed why Scripture says Joseph was sold, imprisoned, yet ended up saving an entire nation? It wasn't because he understood all that was happening. It was because he kept his heart from bitterness amidst what he could not comprehend. I used injustice to position him where no one expected. And today, I say to you, I will do the same for you. What others meant to harm you, I will turn for good. What was meant to bury you will become the foundation that lifts you up. You think you're alone, but you are not abandoned. With every step you take, angelic footsteps walk beside you. Every desperate prayer you whisper causes all of heaven to fall silent and listen. Every tear-soaked word you utter has been recorded in the eternal book of life. Psalm 56:8. I have never forgotten a single moment of your life, even when you felt me farthest away. I was closest. I was in the sigh no one heard, in the trembling hand you raised in the dark, in the surrender you gave when you had nothing left to hold on to. Your name was not only proclaimed in heaven, it was sealed like a covenant. When the 12 angels brought your name before me, they did not carry the labels others have placed on you, but the true essence I have known since before the foundation of the world. They interceded not because you were weak, but because it is time for you to step into the harvest and to reap. You must be protected, shielded from the arrows of doubt, accusation, and insecurity. My child, I want you to know this. What you are about to walk into will be unlike anything you've known before. It will require the simplicity of faith, steadfastness in the face of resistance, and a readiness to obey without hesitation. There will be times when you will not understand why I lead you down unfamiliar paths, but do not try to reason it out. Follow me by faith. I will make a way in the wilderness. I will cause rivers to flow in dry land. Isaiah 43:19. I will do a new thing, and you will be the one to carry that new thing into a world that waits. I do not give you a calling only to abandon you mid-journey. I am the beginning and the finisher. I will supply all you need, the words to speak, the places to go, and the people to walk with you. Nothing is too difficult for me. And if you still wonder whether you are truly chosen, let me remind you once again, no one can bring your name before me unless I have allowed it. And once I have chosen, no force can undo it. If you truly want to understand why I called you out from among countless others, You must return to the original seed I planted within you at the beginning. It is not about outward skills or visible accomplishments. It is about a gentle spirit, a faithfulness no one taught you, a divine intuition deeply etched into your soul. You were formed by an unseen hand, called by a voice no earthly ear could hear, yet one that shakes the very foundations of the spiritual realm. Even from your mother's womb, I sanctified you. As I said to Jeremiah, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. I appointed you as a prophet to the nations. Jeremiah 1:20. You may have thought such words were only for the extraordinary, but the truth is, every chosen soul carries a similar proclamation. And for you, that word is still being fulfilled, step by quiet step, in patience and in faith. You cannot begin to imagine how many times the darkness has tried to extinguish the flame within you. It has attacked you at your most vulnerable point, your self-doubt. It whispered that you are not strong enough, not wise enough, not worthy enough. But what you didn't know is this: it is precisely your not enough that makes you suitable. For when you are weak, my power is made perfect. When you step back, my light advances. When you say, Lord, I can't, I respond, I can and I will, through you. You once believed you were just ordinary, but what I see in you is a heartbeat aligned with mine. When you ache for the pain of others, I ache too. When you cry over injustice, I cry with you. When you help in silence, unseen by all, know that I have seen it all. And because of that, your name is inscribed upon the scroll of mercy, where no power can erase it. Have you ever felt that there is something within you that no one understands? A quiet, wordless cry? A dream that has no name? A sorrow that no one can explain? That is the mark of one who carries a portion of heaven's burden. Those who are called always carry a scar in their heart, a scar of longing for a world not yet redeemed, a nameless grief over what is still unfinished. That scar is what causes your soul to tremble at the cries of the hopeless, to feel deeply the darkness in places no one else dares to enter. My beloved child, that is why I chose you, not because you are better than others, but because you share in my pain, because you cannot ignore injustice, because you are not at peace when others are perishing. I did not choose you to stand out, but to bend low, not to speak before crowds, but to intercede in the secret place, not to be a hero, but to be a servant. And in that hidden spirit, I see the image of my Son, Jesus, in you. Remember this: the light you carry is not meant to be admired, it is meant to illuminate the path for the lost. While others chase after position, you are called to pursue purpose. While the world runs after applause, you are invited into stillness. For in that stillness, I will whisper things only the set apart can hear. My child, let me tell you about a man I once chose, Elijah. He was not welcomed in royal courts. He was not celebrated by the powerful, but he had something the world could never take: a heart that listened to me. When I spoke through the gentle whisper, he recognized my voice, and because of that, I used him to call an entire generation back to me. You are like him, my beloved. Greatness does not need noise. It is in quietness and faithfulness that you will shake what is unseen and awaken the souls that slumber. Do not run from this calling, even when it makes you feel out of place. Do not measure your worth by human recognition, for my eyes do not see as human eyes do. I do not look at the outward appearance, but I search the heart, 1 Samuel 16-7. And your heart, though marked with scars, still beats for me. That makes you more precious than the purest refined gold. Remember, you cannot enter into your divine mission while clinging to your former image. Let me strip away the false layers, the labels that were never yours, the fears that tried to govern you. Allow me to call you by your true name, the name only you and I know. It is not written with ink, but with light. It is not found in human ledgers, but in the book of life, and that name, my beloved, is the key that unlocks the door to your coming season. My child, I am calling you into deeper waters, where your soul no longer feeds on old understanding but is nourished by the revelation that flows from me. Your name is not merely a label on human lips, it is a spiritual declaration that reverberates through the heavens. It was spoken before your first cry was heard on earth, and it does not fade with time or circumstance. It is the name I use to summon you from darkness into light, to send you to places you never expected. Understand this: every person on earth carries a name, but not everyone is called by theirs. Many live their whole lives under names. The world assigned to them names of failure, sin, or past mistakes. But you, my beloved, have been called by your true Namiya, name breathed by the Holy Spirit, tied to a mission woven into time before the foundation of the world. When I speak that name, heavenly gates swing open. Angelic hosts rise to attention, and darkness trembles. For you are not merely a soul, you are a divine answer. Have you ever wondered why, among millions, you feel something different? Why your heart aches for things others ignore? Why at times you feel like you don't belong? It's because your soul resonates with heaven's call. You were not created for the familiar, but to break barriers and unveil lands untouched. Your soul once knew me before the world began. We walked together in unspeakable glory. And now, in a world that's lost its way, I am awakening that memory within you. My child, now is the time to understand. My calling is not based on your past, but on the destiny I placed in your heart. I do not wait for perfection to call you. I call you so that you may be made whole. Just as I called Abraham out of a foreign land, just as I called Mary in a hidden place, just as I called Peter in the midst of his weakness, I call you. Not because of who you are, but because I know who you will become when you walk with me. Do not define yourself by past seasons. Everything you have endured was not meant to crush you, but to sharpen you. Every stumble was not a failure, but an invitation to draw nearer to the truth. I am not ashamed of your weaknesses. On the contrary, it is in those very places that my glory is revealed. As Paul once said, "When I am weak, then I am strong," 2 Corinthians 12:10. So too will you discover that in your lack, I am your fullness. Stand firm, for a season of divine transition is at hand. Your name is not only recorded in the book of life, it is being proclaimed among the angels as a summons to heaven's army to surround, escort, and defend you. The steps you are about to take will not only change your life, they will awaken countless souls still asleep. You are a vital link in a sacred chain of command. And when you step forward in obedience, a heavenly current will flow through your life, releasing divine purpose. Do not be dazzled by appearances. Fame, success, and recognition are not the signs that you are on the right path. The true sign is my presence when you walk with a peace that surpasses understanding, even in the storm. When you feel anchored in uncertainty, when you know, even when no one else understands, that I see you and walk beside you. That is the evidence that you are in my will, that you are living under the true name I have called you by. My beloved, at this very moment, I am calling you out of your comfort zone. Your name has echoed through the heavens. Now is the time to live worthy of that name. Cast off every label that did not come from me. Do not let titles of failure, pain, or human judgment define you. You are not abandoned, inadequate, or broken. Your true name is the one I have sent, a vessel of glory, a lamp of the morning, and when you walk under that true name, my power will follow like a rising tide-breaking chains, reviving what has been buried. You are not a mistake. You are not a product of randomness. You are an answer, a warrior bearing a message, a guide for the lost. And in the days ahead, as you step deeper into my presence, you will begin to hear your true name more clearly, not through physical ears, but by the whisper of my spirit within. And in that moment, you will know you were not born to merely survive, but to release, not to retreat, but to overcome, not to be coddled, but to set ablaze a generation with heaven's light. My child, when I speak your name across the heavens, it is not merely a call, it is a command. That name is not only etched in the book of life, but it touches the very core of the universe, where everything turns around the will of the Creator. And you were born to take part in that great unfolding, not as a spectator, but as a bearer of weight, a messenger chosen to fulfill a portion of the eternal plan that no other can take. Do not confuse being chosen with empty privilege. Being chosen is not about sitting on a throne of glory, it is about entering the battlefield. A battlefield where light wars against darkness, love against hatred, life against oblivion. Your name is declared among the angels, not for honor's sake, but to ignite a movement, to stir up life where death has lingered. And that is why, in recent days, your soul has felt shaken, not because you are lost, but because the spiritual realm is trembling, preparing you to enter a new territory, one that demands boldness, radical obedience, and unshakable faith. Do you feel as if you're standing between two worlds? One part of you clings to the familiar and safe, while the other hungers for something deeper, sacred, beyond understanding. That is the echo of transition. When Abraham was called to leave his father's house, he didn't know where he was going, but he obeyed. When Moses stood before the burning bush, he felt unworthy, yet I used him to set an entire people free. When Mary received the angel's word, she was troubled, yet still said, "Let it be unto me." You too are standing at such a threshold. One yes from you will open a gate that no force can shut, but I will not force it. I do not coerce. I invite. I stand at the door of your heart and knock. If you open, I will enter, not just to comfort, but to consume, to equip, to commission. Your name is not jewelry to wear, it is a sword to wield. And you cannot move forward until you understand this. Once you take on your true name, you also take up the cross not as a burden, but as power. My child, do you remember when Jesus was mocked, crowned with thorns, beaten, and crucified, he did not weep over the world's rejection, because he knew his true name came from the Father and, therefore, no one could take it away. When you know who you are in me, no insult, no betrayal, no lie can shake you. You will stand firm in the storm, not because you are strong, but because you are anchored in my name, the name above all names. I did not choose you because you are flawless, but because you are willing. I do not demand perfection. I ask for surrender. And when you surrender, I will do what no eye has seen, no ear has heard, no heart has imagined. Dreams buried in the dust, visions you thought had died, I will resurrect them. Dry spiritual lands will spring forth with living water. But it begins only when you step fully into your true Rolano, the one others assigned to you, but the one I wrote before time began. Have you heard of Gideon, a man trembling in a winepress, hiding from his enemies, thinking he was the least in the weakest clan? But when the angel came, he was not called coward, but mighty warrior. His true name did not reflect his current state, it reflected his future destiny. In the same way, you may be in a dark place as understood, forgotten, but your true name, the one proclaimed by heaven, is light in the night, a victory song amidst lament, a holy fire that breaks every chain. Do not let temporary silence make you question your calling. Do not let delay make you doubt my hand. In the unseen realm, I am arranging things you cannot yet perceive. Your name has been inscribed on sacred scrolls, and every angel stands ready to carry out the words I have spoken over you. But I cannot force you to walk. You must choose. You must say, Lord, I am ready. And when you say that, not with lips alone, but with your entire life, your soul, your will, then heaven will respond. The enemy will tremble. The things that once bound you will break, not because you prayed for a miracle, but because you became one. When you live in your true name, you won't need to chase. Recognition, glory will follow you. You won't have to seek approval, grace will find you, because you will be walking in divine alignment within the current of unending grace. My beloved, now that your true name has been awakened, and the call from eternity is echoing in your spirit, let me show you this sacred truth. Preparation doesn't happen at the mountaintop, but in the low places, not in applause, but in silence, not in human recognition, but in my gaze that sees into the depths of the heart. The years you felt forgotten, delayed, or left behind were not wasted. They were the years I laid your foundation in the hidden. My child, I did not allow you to shine too soon, because roots must grow deep before the tree can rise without breaking. I did not place you in the spotlight, because your inner light needed refining, not through fame, but through faithfulness in the little things. You cannot step into a great mission without passing through the desert. Just as Moses wandered the wilderness for 40 years, as Joseph was cast into the pit and prison, as David was hunted from the palace, and Jesus fasted in the wild for 40 days, so too, you cannot avoid the season of being hidden, but in that hiddenness, I am forging gold. I want you to remember this. There are things I could not entrust to your hands while you were still impulsive. Doors that, if opened too early, would have led you astray. That is why I've taught you to discern my voice amidst the noise, to stand alone and not be shaken, to love even after betrayal, to believe even before the breakthrough. This is not punishment, it is the process. You have not been delayed. You are being shaped. And here is a secret you must engrave upon your heart. The process has never been wasted. Every prayer whispered in the night. Every moment you refused to compromise. Every time you remained faithful in what seemed smallish, one has been recorded. Not in ink, but in life. Not on paper, but in the book of heaven. You thought you were forgotten, but in truth, an entire host of angels has been watching you grow. They are not merely observing, they are recording, cheering you on, and preparing spiritual weapons that match the measure of the influence you are about to carry. There is an arsenal prepared specifically for your assignment, not adorned with dazzling appearances, but forged with real power, humility to keep you grounded when success comes. Gratitudo, guard your heart from bitterness and pain. Discernmento, recognize the enemy's strategies. Mercy not, just to judge, but to heal. And above all, love, the strongest weapon of all. 1. No force can resist. No, darkness can extinguish. I tested you in solitude so you would learn to stand without a crowd. I allowed you to fail so you would learn to return to me. I let you be misunderstood so you would learn to forgive. Because one day, when you are standing in the center of your calling, these quiet lessons will protect you from pride, from distraction, from weary bitterness. And you will remember, this is nothing new. He taught me this in the days no one saw me. And 1, do not despise the days of small beginnings. Don't ever think that caring for one person, praying for one soul, writing one quiet word of praise, or helping someone in secret is insignificant. To me, that is faithfulness. And the one who is faithful in little will be entrusted with much. Luke 16:10. Greatness in my kingdom is not measured by followers, but by hearts that have been touched, and you have touched more than you know. The words you've spoken, the things you've done, have traveled farther than you can imagine. My child, I did not choose you because you were perfect. I chose you because I saw something sincere in you, the most precious thing in my eyes. You didn't pretend. You didn't perform for approval. You tried to live truthfully, even when it cost you. That honesty drew me in. And for that reason, I've poured my best training into you, not to burden you, but to prepare you for a glory you have not yet imagined. The preparation is coming to an end. Like a potter who has shaped, fired, and is now ready to reveal his vessel, so too am I preparing to bring you into the light, not so that you would be admired, but so that I would be glorified through you. For when others look at you, they will not be able to help but ask, who is the one who shaped this person? And you will answer, simply yet powerfully, it is my Lord, who called me out of darkness into his marvelous light. Abba, my beloved, now is the time for me to draw back the veil and show you what has long been hidden behind the invisible curtain, what only those truly surrendered get to witness. You have walked through seasons of hidden preparation. Now it is time for calling to become action. I am calling you not only to listen, but to move not with hesitant steps, but with a bold heart ignited by heavenly fire. I have not given you a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and sound mind. 2 Timothy 1-7. Lift up your head. The time has come for you to no longer live for yourself, but for the one higher than yourself. No more days of wondering if you're worthy, for I have already declared, you are justified by the blood of the Lamb No more living in the shell of the past, for I have broken every chain that once bore your name. I do not need you to be perfect to begin. I only need you to be willing, and that willingness will open doors no power of hell can shut. Listen to me, those who are longing for truth, those who are hurting, those who are broken and desperate, they are all around you. They may not say it, but they are waiting for a sign. And you, with love in your heart, light in your eyes, and truth on your lips, you are that sign. No pulpit required, no spotlight needed, no lofty title necessaries, just your true self, the one I have touched. They will look at you and know, this person was once broken, but now stands strong. This soul once despaired, but now radiates hope. This one was once alone, but now carries a presence that can't be named. Oh, that presence is mine. It is the fragrance of heaven you carry. It is a sacred mark, etched not on your skin, but into your spiritual being. No one can replicate it, for it was birthed in pain, in prayer, in the dark night of the soul. What you have walked through has now become anointing oil, and I, the Lord your God, am igniting that oil to light the lives of those around you. My child, I want you to begin to act not frantically, but with the steady steps of my leading. Don't draft your own plan and ask me to bless it. Learn to listen for me each morning, like Samuel, who said, "Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening. I will give you the right word at the right moment. I will open your mouth when it's time to speak, and close it when it's time to remain silent. There are things I want you to carry in intercession alone, and there are moments I want you to stand and speak truth even if you're rejected. Both are spiritual acts. Both are equally sacred. Let every word from your lips carry the weight of heaven. Let every action reflect my glory. When you forgive, forgive with a wide heart. When you love, love with all of yourself. When you serve, serve as if you're serving me. And when you rise to defend justice, remember that I am the righteous judge. Do nothing to impress man. Do everything as though doing it for human praise. Colossians 3:23. My child, what lies ahead will not always be easy. There will be those who do not understand you. Some will question your motives. Others will envy or even oppose you. But do not be afraid, for if I have chosen you, who can stand against you? If I have called you, who can silence you? If I have made a way, who can block your steps? I am the one who goes before you, the one who guards behind you, the one who stands between you and your adversaries. Do not use human weapons to respond, no bitter words, no self-defense, no silent resentment. That is not the way of the kingdom. Fight with obedience, with steadfast faith, and with unwavering love. Remember, you do not act alone. When you walk in my direction, angels are dispatched to protect you. When you lift your voice in prayer, heaven trembles. When you stand beside the broken and say, I understand, for I have been there. You are doing my work, and when you point all glory to me, it will not only fall on you, but on the entire community you touch. My child, you are the answer to someone else's prayer. You are the miracle sent to heal a soul. You are the messenger carrying hope into barren places. And the wonder is, you do not need to become someone else to fulfill it. Just keep a tender heart, an attentive ear, and ready hands, and I will work through you. When I lay my hand upon you and send you forth, it is not merely for a task, it is, so you may become a living part of heaven's redemptive plan. The moment you realize you've been chosen is not the end of your search, but the beginning of a sacred journey where every breath and every step is entwined with purpose beyond human comprehension. You no longer belong to yourself. Your life is now a symbol, a testimony that grace can transform a person, that the love of the Creator can turn what was once rejected into what is now commissioned. Like Moses, who ran to the wilderness for 40 years, yet was called from a burning bush, so now you too stand upon the ground of your calling. Your name echoes in the heavens not because of human recognition, but because your heart has bowed in my presence. I want you to understand this clearly. The mission I have given you is not a burden you must carry alone, but a holy partnership with heaven. I do not ask you to strive, I ask you to walk with me. I do not require perfection, I seek trust. When you are weak, I am strong. When you are trembling, I remain steadfast. When you do not know what to say, I will put the words in your mouth. In this hour, I am realigning my ranks upon the earth. Those the world has counted out, I am raising up as pillars. Though society cast aside, I am etching their names into my rescue plan. And you are part of that divine realignment. You are a messenger, not because you chose yourself, but because I appointed you before the foundation of the world. Every mercy in your heart, every drop of perseverance, every hunger for justice is proof of your calling. Do not wait for another to confirm what I have already spoken. I have confirmed it. You will not only carry light, you will be light. Not because you shine on your own, but because my light lives within you, and that light will pierce through the darkness of wounded souls, shatter the chains of sin, and shake invisible strongholds. You will not need to shout, for power will follow your words. You will not need to wield a sword, for truth will penetrate the armor of men's hearts. For you will not speak by your own mind, but by my Spirit. My child, hear this warning. Those who are sent will face rejection. Even my son, Jesus, was rejected in his own hometown. And you, who bear the mark of the calling, will also walk through lands of misunderstanding and mockery. But do not let it cause you to shrink back. Remember, the approval of heaven is worth far more than the applause of men. When you stand alone for truth, you are not truly alone. A host of angels surrounds you. Keep your heart pure. Let not success rob you of dependence. Let not temporary results cloud your eternal vision. Every person you reach is a soul, not a number. Every word you speak is a seed, not a performance. Do not worry about being received. Worry about being faithful. For the greatest reward does not come from men, but from my own voice declaring, "Well done, good and faithful servant. Enter into the joy of your Lord." My beloved child, in the days to come, you will see the quiet prayers you once whispered begin to take root, not because you prayed with eloquence, but because I recorded your hidden tears. I will cause the dreams you once buried to blossom in the wilderness. What you thought was dead will rise. Doors you thought closed forever will burst open. And those who once left you behind will watch as my hand lifts you in the open. But remember, the true miracle is not that you are elevated, it is that my name is exalted through you. Keep your heart tender. Keep your eyes fixed on me. Keep your hands ready for every good work. Being sent does not mean you are lifted high, but that you are poured out. And in that pouring, You will discover life abundantly returned to you. My child. Now, walk. Walk with the quiet assurance of one who knows they are loved. Walk with the steady confidence of one who knows they are called. Walk with the burning passion of one who cannot stay silent while the world thirsts for true love. You may not be the brightest flash of lightning, but you are the light that never fades. And that, to me, is more than enough to change a generation. This is the time I reveal something profound to you. Everything you've walked through has not only been training, it has been precise preparation for this moment. This moment when the gates of heaven open and the flow of divine command is released upon your life. You have been called. You have been refined. And now you are being sent not as one seeking a place, but as one established by my own hand. You have walked through barren lands, through moonless nights, through lonely hills where no one heard your cry, but I was there. You prayed in silence, forgave without apology, loved without return. What you thought was unseen has become the foundation for eternal influence. Don't be deceived by the invisible days. What is hidden on earth is revealed in heaven. And now, a voice from my throne draws near to you. Arise, for your hour has come. My child, things will begin to shift around you, not because you are striving, but because I am moving. There will be encounters that seem random, but were divinely arranged. There will be doors that swing open without your knock. There will be hearts that tremble when you arrive, not because of who you are, but because of who is in you. I am stirring up the underground rivers within you, things you did not even know you carried, gifts I have hidden for the appointed season. My beloved, this is the season where the seeds you sowed in tears will bear fruit in joy. The season where the long-buried prophecies will blossom into reality. I will restore your honor, not because honor is the goal, but because I want the world to know, when I choose someone, I keep my word, just as I did with Joseph, betrayed, imprisoned, forgotten, yet at the appointed time. I lifted him from the depths and placed him exactly where his influence was needed. I am doing the same with you, my child. Glory is not the reward, it is the tool. I do not elevate you so you may sit on a throne. I lift you so you may bow even lower. The more that is given, the more must be served. Promotion in my kingdom is always accompanied by humility. Whoever wants to be great must become a servant. Whoever desires to rule must first wash feet. Never forget, your king chose the crown of thorns over gold, chose the cross over a royal seat. And you, the one sent in his name, must also bear his marks. Remember, I will place people around you not to lift you up, but for you to lift them. They will be broken souls, hearts that have lost all hope in goodness, lives cast aside by the world. You will not heal them with advice, but with your presence. You will not need to explain, only to walk with them, because what they need is not a theory but someone real. And that is what I am shaping you into, a living witness that mercy still exists, that light still overcomes darkness. Keep your heart tender. Even when the journey is hard, keep your eyes on me. Even when you don't understand, keep your feet firm. Even when the ground beneath you trembles, there will be days when everything seems to fall apart. But it is in those very days that the seeds of the kingdom are buried deep and begin to root. Just as the grain of wheat must die before bearing fruit, so must you. The death of your own will, of personal ambition, of the egotist, is the cost of birthing things that are eternal. Child, trust me, you will never regret obeying me. Even if you don't see the whole picture, I do. Even if you don't know the next step, I do. And I am the faithful one. I never abandon those I call. If I began something in you, I will finish it. And no power in heaven, on earth, or in hell can stop my hand from moving through your life. Now is the time I reveal one more thing to you, something that has been locked away. Not because it was denied, but because the time had not yet come. But now, the season of release has arrived. There are heavenly treasures I have hidden not to withhold from you, but to protect from the thief. When something is exposed before its time, it is vulnerable. But now, the time of hiddenness is over. I am unlocking the heavens, releasing gifts, ideas, strategies, and visions I reserve just for you. Child, have you ever felt like something inside you has been waiting, a calling unnamed, a bell yet to ring, a door yet to be knocked on? That is it, the silent invitation, the unspoken summons. And today, I am the one knocking. I didn't wait for you to find me. I came to awaken what's within you. For without my awakening breath, the seed would sleep forever. But now, my breath is upon it, and it will live. Do not be surprised if from this day on, your mind begins to awaken in new ways. Ideas you once dismissed will return. Dreams you thought had died will rise again. Paths you thought were closed will suddenly open. You will hear me in your sleep, in your waking, in your daily rhythms. I will speak through strangers, through songs, through scripture, and through deep silence, because now, our communion will no longer be bound by time, space, or emotion. It is wide open. I am rekindling within you things you once let go, dreams you thought were your own, but were actually planted by me before you were formed in your mother's womb. Passions you suppressed, thinking they were not spiritual enough. But I now say, I place them in you to fulfill a piece of my greater plan. Stop dividing your life into sacred and ordinary. For to me, every act of obedience is holy, whether it's teaching, creating, writing, leading, or caring if done in me. It is your ministry. My beloved, you may not be a pastor in a pulpit, but you are a shepherd of wandering souls in your workplace. You may not stand on a stage, but you are a light to those around you. You may never publish a book, but your every action is writing a living, spiritual story, read by angels and demons alike. Do not underestimate your role. I did not call you to compare. I called you to complete your part in the grand design. Even now, I am releasing something else, boldness in the spirit. No more fear. No more retreat. You have lived too long in caution, bound by the opinions of others and the fear of being misunderstood. But I am sending a new wind that will cause you to say what you never dared to say, do what you never dared to do, and step where you never dared to go. Not because you are braver, but because my spirit is igniting a fire in you. You are no longer led by emotion. You are led by truth, and truth is not moved by circumstances. When I say go, gove, if nothing is visible. When I say speak, spake even if your voice trembles. When I say be silent even when you want to explain. For in every response, I will be present, and you will learn that obedience is not just a duty, it is the place where my power is released. Child, there are many who are hungry for what I have placed inside you. They don't even know they need it, but their souls are crying out, and I have prepared you to be the answer, not to carry the burden of saving them that belongs to Mabut, to be the bridge, the cool stream, the knock on the door for wandering souls in the desert. They may never enter a church, but they will come to you. They may never open a book, but they will open their hearts to you. And when they meet you, they will encounter me. Now is the moment I place my final seal upon your forehead, not with ink or shadow, but with unerasable power. This is not the end. This is the true beginning of a journey that will not turn back. As you read these words, understand this: nothing is delayed anymore. Everything is ready. The angels are in position. The windows of heaven are flung wide, and the call has gone forth. Chosen one, step in. My child, you are no longer who you once were. Your name has been proclaimed not only in heaven, but echoed through the ranks of darkness like a siren. The darkness knows you have awakened. They tremble at what you now carry. You are not just beloved, you are empowered. Not merely a survivor, but a warrior crowned with authority. I have not only restored you, I have commissioned you. I have not merely called you back. I am calling you forward, filled with the Holy Spirit and unshakable courage. You once thought yourself weak, but I have placed within you a strength only trials could reveal. You once doubted your worth, yet angels have knelt before me holding your name in their hands. You once felt lost about the future, but now the future unfolds before you like a scroll unsealed. You are the main character in a story I wrote before the foundations of the world. And now, you will no longer simply read the story, you will live it. With your breath, with your actions, with your faith. Remember this: when I call someone, I do not look at their scars, I look at their willingness to let me continue the story through the blood of covenant. I chose David, a forgotten shepherd boy, to become king. Y chose Esther, an orphaned girl, to rescue a nation. I chose Paul, a persecutor, to become an apostle to the nations. And today, I choose you not because you are perfect, but because your heart knows how to bow. You may not feel enough, but I am the all-sufficient one in you. Every time you open your mouth, you will not speak from intellect, but from the living well within you. Every time you reach out, healing will flow. Every time you intercede, the heavens will shift. Not because of who you are, but because you have surrendered and allowed me to work through you. That is the power of a yielded vessel. And you have yielded. I saw it in the nights you cried alone and did not give up. I saw it in your eyes when you prayed for others. Even as you bled inside, I saw it in every quiet choice. No one noticed, but heaven recorded all. My child, you are stepping into a new season of harvest and mission. I will place you among souls who need light. I will give you a spiritual tongue to set captives free. I will grant you authority to break chains. You will not need to shout, your presence will speak. You will not need to prove, you will be the evidence. You will not need to chase after, sickness will follow you. Because you are walking in my will. When the storm rises, you will stand still knowing I command the wind. When doors close, you will not panic knowing I hold the keys. When you feel alone, remember, an entire kingdom stands behind you. And I, King of kings go before you in every battle. Do not turn back. Do not look down. Look up, for your redemption draws near. Every waiting moment has not been wasted. Every tear holds eternal weight. You are no longer one who walks in the dark, but a torch burning in the night. No longer hiding from destiny, but holding it in your hands. I have prepared a new dwelling place for you in the Spirit. No longer a tent, but a living temple. No longer wandering, but established. No longer a slave, but an heir. Engrave this eternal decree upon your heart. You are called by name, set apart by my hand, anointed by my Spirit, and sent forth to shake the world for my name. Go with trembling steps, but with a burning heart, for I am waiting for you on the horizon of destiny, where eye has not seen, ear has not heard, and heart has not imagined what is about to become real. Know this, after all I've revealed, after the heavens have opened, after the words have been spoken, now is the time for your heart to pause, not to retreat but to behold, and to take hold of the sacred weight of the calling you have received. This is not just a message. It is a beginning, a decree from the throne on high. You no longer belong to the shadows of doubt or confusion. You have been chosen, called, and set apart for a purpose so vast the world cannot define it. Your name did not appear in the heavens by chance. It was written in light and covenant, declared by angels in reverence, and sealed with holy blood. When you ask, "Why me?" know this: it was your quiet faith in the dark, your kindness without seeking reward, your humility when no one was watching. These are the things that moved heaven. I do not seek perfection, I seek surrender. And in you, I have found it. This entire journey was never meant to be endured in your own strength, but walked in the power from on high. From the moment your name was spoken before the throne, the whole kingdom moved into motion. Doors will open not because you knock loudly, but because you walk rightly. Miracles will come because you demand them, but because you live aligned. The lost will find light not because you try to shine, but because the light within you is real. My child, know this: the rest of your life will not look like what came before. You will no longer live just to survive, but to influence. You will no longer walk with questions, but with certainty. The things you once called weakness, I will use as weapons. The tears you once cried in secret, I have gathered to water the harvest now at hand. So let your heart stretch toward the impossible. Do not look back, for you are advancing into a new land where mission and blessing meet, where heaven and earth converge through your very life. I go before you, I walk beside you, and I dwell within you. And I say, the greatest things are not behind you, they are coming swiftly. Thank you for listening to today's message. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so we can continue to receive the living word together. Build an unshakable faith and walk in the boundless love of God. Amen.